Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 150. Today I thought I would revisit the imposter syndrome and the part of it that's like confidence versus competence. And was it ever me? Of course, for those who don't know, I had group last night with Doc V, and we had to kind of go over our goals for this next month. And I was thinking, more or less, he was asking me, do I think I ever suffered from imposter syndrome? And I was trying to think of examples of where that might have applied to me. And I actually thought of something last night, and we're supposed to kind of be sharing the stuff that we think about. And I think this is something that can relate to a lot of different people at different times in their lives. But I thought of a perfect example. And it was in a job that I had some years ago. And of course, I don't work at that company anymore. But I worked in an area, and the division that I worked in actually ended up being phased out, and I went to work in another area. Well, when they moved me over into this other area, I was called in and talked to about assuming a management position in this department. And why I kind of thought about this is I have a friend who asked me once, why did you never step into management in any of your jobs? And I thought that was an odd question. Well, when we were talking about the imposter syndrome yesterday, this came to mind. And what I remember is that being a lack of confidence or self-worth, and being a person who at that time was overweight and didn't really believe in myself, I was grateful that the company wanted to keep me. And all the signs were there. The controller called me in and told me that I was one of the best employees, and if he had to let somebody go, it wouldn't be me. He would have me replace someone else. And there were all kinds of positive things that were said, but I, in those days, didn't believe it. Well, they brought me into this department, and they called me in and said, we need to pick a manager, or, to work under the director in this department. And we actually think you would be really good at it. But we've got somebody who's been kind of acting as supervisor. So we want to kind of see how this works out. And and more or less what was said is, may the best man win. Well, under normal circumstances, that might be a great tool to motivate most people. But what do you think it did for me? What it did for me is it allowed me to fall into a victim mode. And I more or less tossed in the towel and said, I don't want it. I gave it a couple months, but because it was so competitive and I didn't have belief in myself, I actually just kind of let it go. And I tossed in the towel, and it was probably one of the worst positions I've ever held, because it destroyed my self-esteem even worse. Now, that's not my employer's fault. I'm not going to point fingers at all that. It was where I was at and how I was feeling about myself. So what is that? That was I didn't have the confidence to match my competence. So did I suffer from it? Yeah, I did. Am I angry about it? No, it's a lesson learned, and it's the past, and who cares about it now because it's long past gone. But it was something we were supposed to do as part of group. So did I learn that I have suffered that in the past? Yep. But you know what I've also learned? This past year has been a lot of work. So it's a good thing that isn't going head to head right now, because I'm pretty sure that it would have ended very, very differently. So I know this isn't going to be a real long one today, but we're supposed to be looking at those kind of scenarios. And I can think of several times in my life where instead of recognizing that I had the skills to step into something new and to fight for something new and to come out the winner in something new, I stepped back and cowered down and stayed under the radar because I was afraid to jump. So if there's something I can say today, think about where you're at and what you're thinking about yourself. In this past year of struggles, and a lot of people losing their jobs, and a lot of people trying to find new ways to approach life, try to think, if you're feeling like that victim, if you're feeling like that person who's not able to make it, is it something that you're self-imposing on yourself? Is it a lack of confidence? Is it a lack of self-worth? Because I'm confident now that if I went back to that situation from the past that I mentioned, where they were wanting me to step into a management position, had I thought differently about myself at that time, it would have ended very, very differently. So remember, think about what drives you behind the scenes. Maybe there's something in your heart that just, or something in your self-worth that needs a little bit of work. Just remember, you are worth it. Maybe you need to say some I am affirmations every day. Doc V was telling us yesterday that he does affirmations with his daughter every single day on the way to school. So if you're struggling a little bit and you're not feeling worthy, maybe try some I am affirmations, maybe write some affirmations, maybe listen to some videos. But you got to find those tools that'll help you build your self-worth. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you find all the best. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.